You can catch it on Facebook later, or go back over
Okay,
to our
yes.
archives. We're there. Well,
Great.
welcome everyone. Glad to have you. It's 11 o'clock, and welcome to the community briefing, a platform that was launched and created for the benefit of making sure that our community, and there's Greg, that our community received firsthand information from those that are our leaders and stakeholders in our community, and also as a networking platform. This platform is powered and sponsored by Recycling Black Dollars, and as well as the BBA. And so we just want to make sure that everyone in our community knows each other, and we can reach out with each other, and we can support our own community and uplift us and inspire us. So thank you for coming. I am Crystal Mitchell, the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, also the founder of the community briefing. I have a fantastic team, Mr. Gregory Sneed. Wave, Gregory.
And she's our queen.
and our queen. And I'm going to turn it over to Greg in a minute, and Mr. Stephen Turner, who is right down there right now. He's having difficulties, technical challenges, and Miss Robin Billups, who is out right now, but we're waiting for her to come back to us. So that's our team. With that, I am going to turn it back over to Greg, and he will introduce himself, and then probably back to me, and then our guests.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to a few of you and those watching on the replay. Welcome to the community briefing. Today is November 18, 2021, and we're glad you are here to join us. Our guest today is Ashley Garner. She will be joining us momentarily to share and tell us what she does, doing, has done, and going to do. So we'll cover all of that. A little bit about myself. I am Gregory Sneed. I have been in financial services for over 40 years now, or more than 40 years. And I work as a financial coach, do life insurance and financial literacy training. The name of my company is Lifesaver Financial Services, because I truly believe that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. If you'd like to feel better about your money, get on a first name basis and maybe give your money a hug, give me a call, send an email, give us a chat. I'll put my information in the chat room, and I'd love to help you out.
Thank you.
Now, but no donations, Roger.
But if he gave you a donation, he might be able to come over for Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. He needs a place to eat, man.
So now it is my pleasure to introduce the queen of our community briefing, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Thank you, guys. So I just did my other spiel. I do want to welcome you. In addition to being the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, which is celebrating its 33 years in this community. And we're in the midst of our membership drive, and we're excited. We just launched our digital platform for our resource guide. So it's now available in print and in the Google and the iTunes store. I also host another show, a podcast called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Always looking for fantastic guests. If you guys are interested, that's a business show that is on every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We stream live on YouTube and Facebook. And I host another show called Conversations on the Patio, which broadcasts on Facebook on Mondays. And we talk about retirement, something that some of us as entrepreneurs don't think ever is going to happen. But we talk about everything that has to do with retirement and how to make sure that you have the money you need when you're ready to kick back for your second, third, fourth, fifth act. So we're glad to have you. Stephen will probably not pop in because he's having visual and visual and also audio problems. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Gregory Sneed, and he is going to introduce our lovely guest today.
Helps to unmute. So, okay, yeah, there we go. So we're back, and I'm back, and thank you all of you for joining us. So our guest today is Ashley Garner, and Ashley is a community outreach coordinator. So she coordinates outreach to the community. She's been doing this for about a decade, and she's been involved in the housing industry. She played a good role, instrumental role in the California Housing Finance Agency. She's actually worked with that agency in the marketing and communications department, serving single family and multifamily real estate and lending. She also hosts events that are focused on ownership strategies for home buyers throughout California, because we know that home ownership is a great way of building wealth transfer, and just being part of the financial participation in our market. She's also responsible for the design and execution of the California Housing Finance Agency's Urban Outreach Initiative, which it consists of advocating for minorities in low to moderate income population with the intent on changing the narrative of home ownership through education. She has experience, with the agency for now 9 years. Well, 9 and pushing up on 10 years. So congratulations. She's also a Compass Realtor. And I didn't find any information on your educational background or where you grew up or what have you. So you'll share that with us. And without further delay, please join me and us in welcoming Ashley Garner.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm the community outreach coordinator for CalHFA. Since I've been there for 9 years, I've actually worked in servicing, where I process mortgage payments. I've worked in the subordinate loan department, where I release liens off of people's homes. So I work with all 58 counties doing that. Now I am in the marketing and communications department as their community outreach coordinator, and I am leading the Building Black Wealth campaign, which for me in the agency, we believe the cornerstone of building Black wealth is, of course, homeownership. So this is kind of what we're all about when we're pushing for it.
Okay, awesome. So do you gonna ask questions, or you want us to ask you questions, or you gonna just?
I can go into like what you probably
go into.
Tell us what you do, where you're from, where you grow up, where'd you go to school, what'd you have for breakfast this morning, whatever. But this is your opportunity to share with us. Those of you who have questions, please put them in the chat for Ms. Garner, and we'll get to the questions at the end of your presentation. Sound good?
Good. Yeah, I was born and raised Sacramento, California. Single mom. I have a 9-year-old daughter, so ownership is very important to me. I want her and her peers to know that they are a part of this. They should, the opportunity of wealth building should not be taken away just because of who you are. And we're not taught that in our community, which is why, when I say Black home ownership or any ownership is so important to me, because when you look at the numbers, historically, we've always been lower. And no one's been intentional with actually fixing it. It's always been more of, kind of we'll get to it. So I decided to take the initiative and say, hey, well, what are we doing to help Black people? And how can we push more ownership in that community? So that's when we came up with the Building Black Wealth campaign, which launched earlier this year in February. This campaign is part of CalHFA's Black homeownership initiative aimed at increasing the Black homeownership rate in California and educating Black families on the housing inequities Black homebuyers face in their pursuit of homeownership. The purpose of Building Black Wealth is to assist in the agency's efforts to affirmatively further fair housing in the underserved communities by increasing the Black homeownership rate. With the campaign, we hope to provide the Black community with tools they need to, on their journey to homeownership. We also hope to address the racial inequality that we see in homeownership today. When you look at numbers in 2019, the Black homeownership rate was 41%. That was lower than it was when housing discrimination was a legal government policy in the 1960s. So with the 2020 numbers recently published showing that the Black homeownership rate did increase by 5 points, we want to continue to see that number grow. Over the past 9 months, the campaign has provided educational materials that cover the history of housing discrimination and how it has impacted the Black community, as well as providing informational tips that Black home buyers can use to overcome the financial and economic barriers. We also educated home buyers on resources for down payment assistance and free housing counseling. Two of our, like one of our cornerstone projects or pieces of our campaign is our Did You Know series. We have two video series. One is called the Did You Know video series, which is an educational video series that provides an extensive history of housing discrimination and discusses how to identify wealth building opportunities through homeownership that have been historically taken from the Black community. We envision that the audience for these videos goes beyond simply potential Black home buyers, but also industry practitioners, policymakers, and the general public. It's important for all of these stakeholders to understand why the racial wealth gap is wide as it is today, and how housing has played a major part in contributing to that gap. The Tips to Black Homeownership video series provides tidbits of information meant to assist Black first-time homebuyers in overcoming the barriers to homeownership. This would include tips with like credit, finances, and what documentation is needed to speak with the lender. With these tips, the first-time homebuyers will be better prepared to navigate the home buying process. Another important piece of our Building Black Wealth campaign is our outreach and partnerships with ethnic media, faith organizations, and community-based organizations to give us more avenues to connect with Black Californians who may be able to benefit from the information and resources we're providing. To date, we have partnered, sponsored, or presented to 15 organizations who shared our desire to improve the homeownership rates for Black families. Some key partners include the California Association of Real Estate Brokers, the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, the California Legislative Black Caucus, and the California Association of Realtors. Our project has received so much great feedback, from social media praise to awards. The NAACP presented us with a resolution, and we received an award from the California Association of Real Estate Brokers for our commitment and leadership in creating wealth in the community through Black homeownership. Additionally, the campaign received a Martin Luther King Humanitarian and Housing Award from Sacramento Black Expo. Finally, which I thought was like crazy, we ran a video ad on YouTube that received over 500,000 views in 3 months, which was shocking to me. For the future of this campaign, we intend to continue educating Black home buyers and highlight the current discrimination happening today. We are working to recognize real estate professionals working in the Black community who have a goal of increasing home ownership. In addition, we have interviewed loan officers and home buyers so that we can feature the real stories of Black first-time home buyers who have been able to successfully purchase their first home with CalHFA's programs. We are also continually, education and pushing more outreach and partnerships with our community that we have, and trying to reach out to who they have as well. We're looking forward to making a difference with Building Black Wealth, and I appreciate the opportunity that you guys, have provided us. We'll let you know what we have going on.
Thank you so much. That's pretty awesome. This weekend, we have the the Los Angeles Black Business Expo, and that is our theme this year, creating generational wealth through real estate assets. And we have this amazing panel headed up, going to be moderated by Ted Brass and Mike Roberts from Detroit, who is a billionaire real estate developer in Detroit, probably bought up all of Detroit, as well as our own local real estate gurus. So you guys definitely, this is what we need to know. But Ashley, my question is, in Los Angeles, or actually across this country, home ownership, the cost of housing is just really out of the scope for most average Americans. So how do we conquer that?
That's a housing affordability issue, and the lack of housing that we have in California. For me, that's something that I personally researched, and I think that's a really good question. And I want to make sure I have all the facts straight before I even dive into that, because this is solely my opinion. So I would literally have to get back to you on that. But for my opinion, I feel that it's just having the lack thereof of housing, and then when we have the lack of education. So when things are provided to us, so say there is housing out there for us, we still aren't even qualified to get it. So we can build all the housing we want, but how are we going to qualify? What's the structure for us to make it to where it's accessible to our community? That's where that's my expertise. How do I make it accessible?
Okay. Greg, back at you.
All right. So one of the first questions here is, how can we participate with the Black California Black Home Ownership Program. I'm getting tongue tied today. How can we participate with the California Black Home Ownership Program?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, we have, and I could drop it in the link. It's our calhfa.ca.gov, and then /building Black wealth. You can go on there and you can share the videos, take a look at the resources that we are providing. We also connected it with the National Mortgage Settlement Funds, which we have dispersed $50 million into the community for credit, pre-purchase, financial mortgage counseling for free from HUD certified counselors. So I tell people to take advantage of that. And we are putting together our partnership toolkit. So you guys can go on there, pull direct information, social media, graphics, everything to share the content and get the word out.
Great, thank you. Next one here. It's important to help families get into a home, but what services are provided to assist them in keeping the home once they're in?
So if you use a CalHFA program, you have to take the first-time homebuyer educational course. But a lot of people don't understand, once you pass that and your loan closes and everything, we provide you post-education. For if you're a first-time homebuyer, you don't know what's going to come up. You don't know what questions to even ask. So there's education after you close on your loan to get that help as well. We want sustainability is everything.
And so what type of training is there? I mean, there's like one training class, or is it several, or, how do they enroll? And do you have to participate in the home buying in order to take advantage of those trainings?
So if you use CalHFA's program, you have to take a home buyer course to even get the grant, right? So once you close that, there is post education from the HUD certified counselor, and they'll train you on what's going on now that you are a homeowner. It could be, maybe you need to take one course, you need to go back and revisit if you have more questions, but they are there for you to ask any questions. And that's too, for like, if you had a mortgage issue, in the Black community, we're so used to being told no, we just accept it, right? And we never go back to get what we should, you know what I mean? So it's like, and it's free. Like, you know what I mean? So it's free. It's for you to not be embarrassed to ask those questions. If you get a mortgage note and you have no idea what to do with it, never ignore it. Go ask that question, because I think that's how we lose a lot of our wealth, by being afraid of not knowing.
Right. Yeah, that's good. And the follow-up to that would be, if someone did not purchase their home through CalHFA, those post-educational programs, are they open to them as well, or do they have to have been through the entire program to participate?
That you would go to a HUD certified counselor and you can decide which classes that you want to take. And that's without even having a CalHFA loan. That's free to anybody. Go to your local HUD certified counselor and they can teach you post homeownership and, when you are a first time home buyer, what that entails. There's like multiple courses that they can take.
What's the relationship between CalHFA and HUD? Do you guys get funding from them? How are you guys funded?
We are a state agency, and we're not in the general fund, so we generate our own money. And that's why we're able to continuously lend and not run out of money.
Right. And so what activities do you do, and how can we as community support that fundraising effort?
What activities we do? Well, right now, our focus is the outreach on our underserved communities, and that's why we're being intentional right now with working with our Building Black Wealth campaign. And we're focusing on the Black community, showing the numbers that are so low. It's a community on fire and they've been stepped on for so long. So what can we do to assist them? If for all of us, we should all be in the game together and go share these programs that are available. And it's not even just CalHFA. We work with other programs. Like you can layer CalHFA programs with the WISH program, San Francisco Federal Home Loan Bank. My goal is to make sure that people are getting these resources to offset those costs and utilizing these programs. I noticed too in our community that we're embarrassed to use programs or ask for help when the entire white middle class was built off of a program. The GI Bill created all of their wealth, but we weren't able to take advantage of that. So I feel now with the education, if we know our history and where we come from, we can pivot those mistakes that we've made and utilize what's out there for us now.
Great, thank you. One of them is, can you share the link for the video marketing here in the chat? Let's see, is the CalHFA secondary market, or is it a guaranteed loan program?
So we work with lenders who are approved. And so there's like a whole intricate chain. Like, we don't directly give you the money. We go with whatever preferred lender that we have. They give the money and then we pay them back once you close on your loan. But no,
Okay.
we don't directly lend to you guys. No.
Got it. So you're coordinating with the lenders, because the follow-up question here from someone is, what are the requirements of the loan and the parameters, like loan to value, credit scores, that kind of thing. So
yeah, so you have to be a first-time home buyer, which means you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years. Being that you only can get $15,000 is the max, but there are exceptions. What that exception is, if you buy a new construction home, you get the full 3.5%. If you get a manufactured home, full 3.5%. If you are a firefighter or you work for the fire department, like you answer the phones as a receptionist, you qualify for an exception. And my favorite is the school. So people always say there's teachers, but our program is school district employees. So if you get a check from the district, you meet that exception. That means yard duty, front office worker, lunch lady. That means everyone that gets a check from the district qualifies for that exception. We also have closing cost assistance that will help you with 2 to 3% of your closing costs. These are subordinate mortgages. These are not grants. So that means you have to pay them back when you refinance or sell the house. Since I worked in the subordinate mortgage department, a lot of people don't pay them off. They'll refinance and they'll go away, or they'll sell. Or there was a lady who paid $2 a week and paid her loan off. Literally, she had a check come in $2 a week and she paid her loan off. I want to also tell people that when you hear subordinate mortgage and grant, you always want to run to grant. It's free money. That's what I would do, anybody, right? But when you look at the long run, you're paying a higher percentage rate when you go with the grant at time versus that 1% subordinate mortgage on $15,000 for 30 years or however many years it takes you to pay that off. But it's going to be 6 or 4% on a grant for 30 years. So I tell people, when you go out there in the Black community to try to get your mortgage, have them run down multiple scenarios so you know which one works best for you.
Wow. So somebody could pay $2 a month and it did not affect a week, they didn't take her home and till she paid it off. Okay, now that's a community best kept secret. So how come we don't know about this?
This is what I'm here for. The information is there, but I feel like it's more important than ever to communicate to your community how they will receive it. We can't go in there with these big terms and make it uncomfortable, because then no one wants to listen and they don't understand. So that's why I took it upon myself to get out there and using relatable terms and easy ways to understand what's out there for us. Like the Tips to Black Homeownership series, it's a little video animated series with my voiceover talking about your credit, talking about your finances, talking about the programs that are available. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for us to understand and want to learn more.
So this program 11, so you've been there 11 years, but back in 2007, 8, when we had the real estate crash and we lost a lot of Black home ownership in foreclosure. Was these programs available then, or is this a result of that?
So I've been there for 9 years.
Okay,
the housing crash happened. I was a senior in high school. So I wasn't out there. I wasn't even thinking about housing at that time.
Right.
But we've been around since 1975. We've always there's tons of home ownership programs. We had the CHDAP. They had like 4 or 5 going at one time. But when it came to outreach efforts, I didn't see holistically that we were outreaching to the Black community as we should have been. And that's why we're taking the initiative to make sure now that we are communicating properly and they're getting the tools that they need.
Well, Ashley, you are going to become my new best friend, because I have a lot of connections and a lot of people that I speak with on a regular basis. And I need that information. I need to make sure that our community, we do what we do because we don't know what we don't know. And if no one's making that effort to get that information to us, we just are operating in our own little silo, in our own little bubble, and things are happening to our community that is displacing us because we don't have this information.
No, I agree. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because this affects the community. This affects me. I am a part of this community. My daughter is a part of this community. Everyone I care about is a part of this community. So I've seen firsthand what that looks like. I've been told no. The reason why I was so gung-ho on having HUD certified counselors and those resources attached to this campaign was because I was told no back in 2014 when I went to go get a mortgage. My credit was lower, like in the sixes, like this, I think it was like 618 or something like that, because no one taught me finances. My mother told me, and she's single mother, a hard state worker. So she was just me and her. She taught me, honey, you know, pay all your bills and whatever's left is yours. That was so wrong. That delayed me in so many aspects, like parts of my life financially, right? And so when I was told no in 2014, I was like, okay, well, it's just a no. But if someone would have connected me with that resource that would have held my hand, I could have had that house in 6 months, 5 to a year, however long it would have taken me, I would have did it because I would have had somebody that was on me and was showing me the right way. If no one's there to have that piece, then how are we going to, you know, effectively close the racial wealth gap? How are we going to increase Black wealth in our community if we don't have that help that we need? So that's why I took it very, very seriously. And I'm very passionate about this work.
Okay, Greg.
Yes, let's see. So Deborah Watson Trigg wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that if they need property and casualty for their home, that she and her firm are available. That information there is in the chat. Let's see. Someone here put a link to the Building Black Wealth page, so that's fantastic. Let's see. California Black ownership has been right now is lower than it was in the 60s. So compared to the what's happening with a white family. So I think that was just a statement here. Would you recommend other markets for Black ownership? So in other words, are you talking going outside of the LA area, Stephen?
Yes, you know, given that the average house in Los Angeles is, you know, roughly about 915,000. And really, you know, we've experienced about an 18% increase over last year as far as appreciation. And I have kids, you know, daughters that are in their 30s. You know, and quite often I have to tell them, you probably can't buy in Los Angeles, urban. And so I recommend them they go to other markets. Is there other markets in California that actually you recommend that are more affordable for the Black pathway to home ownership?
So we lend all over California and our income limits are pretty high. I know Sacramento, I think it's like 175 or 79,000. You can't go over. The Bay Area is 202,000 because you know it's expensive there. I mean, like I said, we lend to offset those costs. Sacramento is a good market. The Central Valley is a cheap market. It just depends on, you know, what they're willing to sacrifice to become homeowners. And I always tell people, this is your first home. This does not have to be your forever place. You got to kind of leap in to get that start with the home ownership, though. It has to start somewhere. I didn't own anything till I was a little older because I wasn't taught these things. So I tell the youth, the younger generation, or like my brother's 26 and I instill in him all the time, if you can't do it at home, let's find another place for you to do it, but you're gonna do it. Like it's gonna happen. And that's what we're here to help them with. Like our programs lend all through California.
Is it just residential or is it because I think sometimes it's a better move to invest in income properties, and that way you can help you actually purchase your first home and use the income from that in order to keep your mortgage, you know, pay your mortgage? Is it also available for, or is it just for?
So we are first time home buyers, single family homes, right?
Okay.
However, we do have the single family home with the ADU. So if you have an ADU back there, you can use that for potential income if you choose to, but it's your single family home. It's your mother-in-law in suite. So they will allow you to do that, and there's an exception. There are other programs in California that people can utilize that actually do multifamily lending for first-time home buyers in California. And some of those are grants and some of those are loans as well. We are really big on, it's not about using our program. Whatever program you need to use to actually start building that wealth, we are supporters of. There's GSFA. They are a program that a lot of people will see us or them, and sometimes their program works better for other people than we do. And I tell them you should go ahead and do that. Whatever it takes for you to get what you need, I'm a supporter.
A couple of requests in the chat for contact information. So when time permits, if you could enter that into the chat in terms of how they can get in touch with you. There was also another request for a link to the video information. One other question here is who or what are some of the banks or lenders that are participating in the program?
So if you go to our website, and there may be a link dropped in there, I could drop it again. If you go to our website, you could click on the list of our preferred lenders, and it goes by county. So whatever county you live in, there's a list and you can contact them. It's funny because we're also interviewing loan officers who are actually killing it in Black homeownership in those communities. So you'll see in the future, there are potential Black loan officers that you guys could be able to contact to work with people who look like you as well. Because I know that's an important piece. We go out there and we're not comfortable working with other people. And so why can't we push the people that are in our community working now, trying to help us? So you can be on the lookout for that as well.
Next one is the agency looking to hire additional people, looking for volunteers. You know, what opportunities are available at the agency for someone who wants to help out?
We're looking to partner with organizations as a whole. So if you are if your goal is to increase Black homeownership or homeownership in our community, please contact me. That could mean it could be a home buyer event that you guys are doing. We'll come out. If you have 25 people signed up, we'll come out for free to let everybody know what we have going on and what programs are available to help them. And that's a resource a lot of people don't use. Also, if you're looking to work at CalHFA, that means you would want to, that'd be a state job. So you would just go on the website and they have a list of all the available positions that are out there for our agency.
Gotcha. I think Stephen was on the same page here because he was asking, in addition to loan officers, what are some of the other business opportunities available at the agency?
We're, like I said, it's a state agency. So you would have to be a state worker, but if you want to partner, say you're a loan officer and you're working in that space, we are spotlighting you. If you're a realtor who is working in that space, contact me. We'll put your story up and spotlight you and everything that you are doing for your community.
I will have my sister give you a call. She's a realtor and she works with a lot of seniors who have all kinds of challenges when it comes to their selling their home by keeping their home in their family. So I'm going to give that information and I will definitely be calling you. I think, Stephen, did you ask what were some of the banks that provided that they work with?
Yeah, she says it's on their website, the link.
Okay.
Yeah, it's by county. If you go on our website, we have a list of our preferred lenders that you could contact.
Did anyone have a question in the chat that I didn't cover? And does anyone have a question that they didn't put in the chat, but they'd like to ask now?
Michael Browning had a question, had a statement about the outside investors that are coming in, buying up all of the property in our communities and for Airbnbs. In fact, even Zillow, I don't know if you guys saw that article in the paper where they are trying to unload $2.8 billion worth of property because they bought all that property, which takes away from the buying market. And now they need to dump it because houses, they can't flip the houses.
Yeah. So what is the exact, what is
so Michael, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, so it's not really a question, it's the competition. You know, when you have these folks coming in buying these properties and then, you know, just snatching it up before folks get a chance to even put a bid in it, or that when we say that there's a lack of housing, I just don't really believe that, because we're losing people in LA County and we're building, especially in the Valley, all these properties, yet folks can't afford to live in them. So it's more of that there's a lack of affordable housing than a lack of housing, because there's so many vacant properties that you know, our people just can't afford. And so I'm wondering, you know, is there strategies to help, you know, folks when they're out there searching to find properties before they're snatched up by those folks who are trying to buy them for you know, their own purposes of generating their own capital?
So my opinion on that is, and this is my opinion, I feel that it has a lot to do with the laws and regulations that are being put in place. there should be a regulation or a law stating that a major company can't buy up so many homes that is affecting obviously the stability that we have, but we don't have anything. And the reason I said there's a lack of housing, because there is a lack of affordable housing. You are correct. And that's what everybody's pushing for, to build these affordable places. But when it comes to all these affordable housing being built and people getting into them, they're not supposed to stay in that forever. Is there enough housing inventory for us to put these people in housing, like in housing? So there's a lack all the way around. When it comes to housing, there's an issue. And I think everybody has a part to play when it comes to rectifying what's going on.
So
Right. And I firmly believe that the affordable housing has two components. One is lowering the cost of housing, lowering the cost of rentals. But the other piece of it is increasing the affordability through income and doing programs, doing things to be able to provide a greater income so that you're able to afford them, so that you're not, limiting yourself to working at a fast food place when a lot of these trade unions are providing apprentice opportunities or construction opportunities for individuals to be able to make, good money. And these job fairs are sometimes absent of a lot of people from our community, showing up to get, fantastic paying jobs, $60 an hour, $75 an hour. So
I think there's another piece too, and to me, it's a responsibility for these realtors that are running amok in California at times. And I say that because I forgot the gentleman's name, but he's like, we can't get in there and buy the houses. Well, Michael, your offers are getting put in there, but that real estate agent, this is the program. Nope, you don't want to use FHA loans. And who's the majority of people using FHA financing? Black and brown people, right? So, you don't want you want conventional, or you want all cash. And so what I tell people, and this is why I love educating the real estate professionals, a lot of that all cash isn't even guaranteed. What happens when you come to closing and the money's not there? When there's a program that's being funded and it's money that's there that's going to close the deal. So I feel like we have to educate the professionals that are helping these people buy homes and sell homes, let them know, hey, this program is good. This person is a first-time home buyer, but they're legit, they're stable. It's not all about who has the higher dollar or what looks the best. You got to kind of educate the realtors as well.
Wow, deep. Yeah, very, very true. And then even as a community, so we really getting the word out. If you guys are educating the potential home buyers as well, because I'm going to tell you, most people don't even have a clue unless they have someone in their family that has homes or are invested in home ownership or real estate. They don't have a clue on how to go about that. They don't know how to plan for it. And they just have the mentality, I just have to stay as a renter because I don't even know how to go there. And they're uncomfortable going there because they feel if they're going to ask some questions, they're going to look like, stupid, and they're not. And then what you just said, Ashley, the denial of being told no happens more often than not with our people that at some point you have some post-traumatic trauma on being told no.
No, I agree. It's unfortunate. And to me, that's the generational piece that has been taken away from us, because there's generational wealth, but wealth also means knowledge. And so if your grandmother, your if no one has ever gotten that knowledge to pass down, how can we break that curse? You have to be the one to go out there and search for that information. And a lot of millennials now are actually open and willing to learn and wanting to understand. So that's why I'm like, if this is what you guys want, we're going to really push hard these resources to help you. I don't know if you even had a chance to look at our video series, but we talk about the Fair Housing Act. We talk about all predatory lending, predatory lending practices. We talked about, I took it back to the Homestead Act. I'm like, people don't understand how pivotal that was in us having land ownership. So I'm a firm believer, if you don't know your history, we will not rectify anything. We're going to keep making the same mistakes and accepting the things that we should not have to accept.
Go ahead, Greg. Yeah, something.
No, I didn't have it. I was going to say, I think there's one more here. Let's see. How can we increase housing and stock inventory? I think we might have covered that, but and how can we provide incentives to build more reasonable price housing?
That is a good question. And that's something that people are actually working on. I don't have the answers for that right now, but I can come back to you. Let me do a little research.
Okay.
That is fantastic. Do you guys have, so we talked about the young people, millennials. Stephen talked about his daughters. I have nephews who are just starting into their careers. So your programs, do you have a program specifically for young people to get them ready and prepared? So if that's a process that's going to be 5-10 years down the line, they are ready?
So our program is for everyone, no matter your
Okay.
age. You got to be able to buy a house. And even if you're not ready to buy a house, the resources that we have attached will kind of prepare you, get you in the direction. I want to get people in front of help and be comfortable with receiving help. So that's why I push HUD certified counselors so heavy, because they literally hold your hand. They go through literally your finances, setting a budget, how much you should be having before you buy a house, the things that to expect, the fees to expect when you're in the process of buying a house. So I feel if we had that connection, since we didn't get that within our own families, we need that handheld person to keep us on track.
I'm going to reach out to you and see if we can put together something so I can invite for RBD, because we're really working toward creating the generational wealth, as well as with the Black Business Expo. That's one of our agenda items for 2022, is how, because we have to do that. We're at a very pivotal point, and especially here in the Black in our community, in the Baldwin Hills, the Windsor Hills, the View Park, the Ladera Heights, all of those areas are under attack and we have a lot of ownership of older people, and the younger people need to know how they can acquire their parents' homes and keep them.
I noticed too, a lot of the first-time home buyers aren't even just millennials. Like there are people in their 50s and
Yeah.
60s that are buying homes as well. And so I like I said, I wanted the language to be very relatable, because I'm not just talking to one group of people. I'm talking to all people who really are interested in building wealth and understanding the importance of home ownership. That's what I want to push. And that's for young ones, older ones. My dad, like my father, he still doesn't own a house, and I'm helping him through that process, and I'm his child. So as long as we get this done, I got you. Like my thing is, whatever you need, I got you. And I know that starts with education. So let's go to the bare minimum. Let's get this foundation right, and we can continue to build those blocks and have them stable and not, a little shaky, because of the whole, look at the crisis. If people were educated properly on what mortgages to get, yes, the housing market would have dipped, but you would have rolled that out because your payment would have changed. You got a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And look at that now. All those houses are sold for hundreds of thousands over. And all of our wealth was lost just because we didn't know. And we were preyed upon because we did not know. So education to me is very important.
We have quite a few mortgage people and real estate people here in the platform today. Quite a few, actually. You guys have no comments, and are you working with Ashley? Are you what y'all doing? John and my buddy Kane, where are you?
In Bashville, yeah.
Yeah, they're all bashful today. Go ahead, Greg. You had something else.
So one list here is, when is your next event where our community can learn more about the California Black home ownership pathway? And then the next question is, are you guys working in person now? Is it virtual? How's that being conducted in these days and times?
I actually have a meeting today with the San Francisco Federal Home Loan Bank. We're actually working to put together an event because, like I said, we can layer our programs with theirs. They have the match. It's called the WISH program. They have a match system to where you come to $5,500, they'll give you $25,000. And that's a grant that you don't have to pay back. And since it's a grant, they're able to layer those programs with our programs. So you're getting to your house with little to no money down. And that's kind of what our goal is. So our next event will most likely be with the San Francisco Federal Home Loan Bank. And it's funny because it's called Passport to Homeownership when you mentioned that. And then what was your other question?
Are you guys doing, how are you working with your clients and those who are interested? Is it still virtual? Is it in person?
So we do both, depending on the COVID guidelines that they have set for each event. Like I said, we just received an award from the California Association of Real Estate Brokers, and that was an in-person event in San Diego. If you do have a brokerage or you want to go talk to your brokerage about having us come speak, if you are in SoCal or somewhere in California and it's in person, as long as there's guidelines, we can actually fly out there and, you know, assist. You have to have 25 people for us to come though. But that is free. And if you want to do virtual, we're open to both.
Awesome.
Thank you, Crystal. Well, that looks like it completes or concludes the questions that I see in the chat. And I asked if anyone else had anything. So turning it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. So much great information, Ashley. We are going to be reaching out. I'm a firm believer that some of our biggest gaps and weaknesses in our community is that we don't work together, that we work in silos. And so we really have to rectify that and start working together so that we can ensure that this information is disseminated to the people, because most of us walk around like, okay, we don't even know. And there's not like there's a banker telling us, hey, come on in, we got a program for you. We want you to buy homes. We know traditionally and historically, when it comes to our skin color, they ain't not exactly welcoming us in with open arms. They kind of pushing us out with all of the problems. Stephen, you have anything that you want to?
I have one more thing before that. Ashley, there's some good information and some questions and people who are looking to assist in the chat. And do you know how to save the chat? You can go into the chat box. There's 3 little dots there. You can save it, and then you'll be able to look at that information. And I recommend doing that before the meeting ends.
Yeah, I just saved it. So if something else comes up, I'll save it again.
Okay.
And like she just said, like how, we're used to be being pushed away. Use us as a resource. And I think people it's communicating with our community. So you pushed us away so much. So now we're afraid to step in there with you. And you got the doors open now, but we don't even know if we could trust you. And so that's why it's so important for it to come from a trusted resource and someone that looks like you. So you feel a little more comfortable. And I think organizations have to understand you gotta, it's a lot of history that's happened, and it's gonna take baby steps to get it done. And yes, we may be a little reluctant, but if you keep teaching us and keep educating us, those doors will be a little more receptive and be a little more open, to understanding it, what homeownership means and how there's a lack thereof in our community.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Ashley, on behalf of the whole team at the community briefing, would like to thank you. Given the fact that we have a group of people of African descent that have a home ownership of 40%, and another group that's at 7%, there's a gap that we need to address. And we're fortunate to have you there, Eric, Tina, and some of the other team members addressing that. So on behalf of all from the community briefing, Recycling Black Dollars and BBA, we thank you ever so much for your time and attention today. And we will send you a follow-up to some of the questions that were in the chat, as well as we'll send you the link for the YouTube video of this particular segment.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. If you need anything or you want to partner, please contact me. My information is in the chat. And please go check out our videos and share and spread awareness, because that's how we get it out there. We got to work together. I don't know everybody that you know. So push that out there. Thank you guys.
I will definitely help you out with that. Thank you so much. We so appreciate you. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Michael, are you there for a moment so that you can give us an update on anything relating to the vaccination? Michael, are you there? No. Okay. So Stephen, who's going to be here next week?
We're excited to announce that Constance Anderson, the president of the center, which is the holding company of Lindustry, is our guest on December the 2nd. Council will talk about technical assistance, grant opportunities, as well as funding for our small and minority businesses in the area. So tune in next Thursday, 11 a.m.
Okay. And guys, this weekend is the Los Angeles Black Business Expo. It's a virtual event. We'd love to have you. We have some amazing speakers. We have Dr. Dennis Kimbrough coming in to speak. He's celebrating his book. I think it's the 40th year of his Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice. We also have Dr. George C. Frazier there. We have Michael Roberts, who's a self-made billionaire. We also have Byron Nelson, who's a self-made millionaire. And so come on out. We're the theme is talking about creating generational wealth. We have over 40 speakers and some wealth talks from some very successful business owners. And then we actually have some kids that are there displaying their goods and so forth, selling in their booths. So come on out and support us. You can go over to the Black Business Expo. The website is going to be in the chat, 21labbe.com to get your tickets, a mere $25. That won't break you. Just avoid going to Starbucks and McDonald's over the weekend. And there you go. You got your $25. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Go to our website, the community briefing, to check out the archive of shows that are there, and also the upcoming guests that are coming on. We are here every Thursday morning.
Gobble.
Gobble, right?
Next Thursday, we won't be here,
Oh,
right?
we won't be here next Thursday. We will be here the week after that, and that will be when Constance here in December. We want to wish you guys a very safe and a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you realize that we're still in the pandemic, that you are masked up, and if you need a booster, go get a booster before Thanksgiving. Oh, Michael, can you give me something before you leave?
You know, I just appreciate these meetings. One of the highlights of my weeks is being with you all. You guys are great. You know, our cases are going up. They went down slightly last week. I think that was a blip because of the hot weather. Folks weren't inside as much as they were in the previous couple of weeks, but we were upswing for 3 straight weeks, went down a little bit last week. So we're hoping that our folks continue to protect themselves, because this is when we went into our big surge last year, and we still have the over 40% of our people who are not vaccinated. So that's a lot we need to make up for. So yes, please be safe, and talk to your folks who are not vaccinated about considering it. I know it's a lot going on. We're trying to convince folks, but maybe listening to them and hearing them out and giving them rationale on why you were vaccinated might help. So thank you, and great job you're doing, Crystal. I really, really, really love this meeting.
No, thank you, Michael. We appreciate having you. Herman Jones, thank you for showing up, from the 54th Assembly District member. Addison Peterson from Cameo, new faces, welcome. Mahadi, I hope I got that right. Welcome. And everyone else, Lucius.
John May. You got John May from US Bank there.
Okay, John May from US Bank, and everyone else that comes in to join us. Thank you, Bianca. Saw you the other day looking beautiful at the GLAC party or whatever that was. I saw you looking very beautiful, you and your family. So we want to thank you guys. Have a very safe and yes.
Emo, I see you there.
Yes, I want to encourage you. The black business thing. I'm a sponsor for the young entrepreneurs. So encourage as many of you that can, be a part of this thing too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. So the Black Business Expo?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you guys want to donate to the kids, we're going to have a pitch competition for them. You can go over to that website and donate. But we'd really love for you guys to come out and just check them out, check out all of the great information there. We have to change our focus. If we're going to build wealth, we have to know how to do that. And the best way to do that is associate with people that have managed to do that themselves, is to hang out. What is it? I think George Frazier says, if you look at your top 10 friends and they're not wealthy, then you might need to get some new friends. Yeah. And start hanging out, and hopefully it'll rub off on you vicariously. So right. Thank you guys. Anything else from Greg or Stephen?
No, the only thing I noticed also is that the city has opened up, the winter shelters now have opened. They opened from November 1st through the end of March, I believe. So those shelters are open and available to help those particularly get out of the cold as our weather starts getting colder and rainier. And if I can locate it quickly, I'll put some information here in the chat on that.
Oh, thank you so much. That was great, Greg, because there's so many people that are living out in the streets these days. So thank you for that information. Okay, guys.
Excuse
Michelle.
me.
Yes.
I would like to know if I may announce something.
Sure, Sally.
Okay, it's the I Known River Film Festival this weekend at the Crenshaw Mall.
Oh.
It's the cars go in, the films are on the screen. I'm sorry, I don't have all the information, but it is a drive-through, $40 per car. So if there are 5 or 6 people in the vehicle, that car pays the $40. And we just want to send this out to the community. A lot of conscious films and education information for the community. So that's the I Known Rivers Film Festival. Tori Brandon Reese is the family organization is in charge of that.
Oh, thank you so very much.
And
That's
it's from 5
appreciated.
p.m. to midnight, Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, okay.
Correct.
Also, I think they're kicking off, or I think this weekend is the kickoff for King Richard. I know I have a group taking my tennis kids out there on the 28th, so go check out the movie with Will Smith. I hear the reviews are absolutely awesome. We had one of the film crews come out to talk to our tennis kids with our program, and it was pretty cool, and they're going to come for the day we're going to be at the theater. So go out and support. I think that kind of rounds it up. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy him. Herman, would you like to say something real quickly?
I would. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that I represent the 54th Assembly District Office of Assemblymember Isaac Bryan. I've been getting you guys' emails for a minute now, and just glad to jump on and say hello, let you know we're here as a resource and a partner. It's a lot of information flowing through here that we want to be a conduit for and work with you guys. Mr. Sneed, you know, I know your wife, Faye, she used to do the Parkers back in the day. I was an extra on the set, you know what I mean? And so a lot of love, man. And I love what you guys are doing. We want to help spread this info because like you said, like the sister said, we need this information. Folks just don't know.
We do. So Stephen, you think you want to talk to Herman and get him in, or somebody over there on the show? Stephen will be reaching out to you, Herman. Put your contact information in the put your information in the chat room, please.
Absolutely.
So that way we can have you on the platform. We do appreciate it. Please come back, tell the people, your constituents, we're here. This is a source of information for our community. That's why we're here. What you don't know, we want to make sure we're not on the menu, that we are part of the discussion when they plan in the menu. All right, guys, enjoy. We will see you in December. I'm going to enjoy greens from my garden this weekend, so I'm kind of excited. And so we will see you guys. Have a great one. Be safe.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Blessings to you and your family.
See you in December.